For the start of this meeting. We're usually not all of us here to ready to go. Thank you so much for being here tonight. It's wonderful to see so many people here and have some interest in our city council and what goes on here. So we appreciate you all being here tonight. We'll open this meeting by having a pledge of allegiance by Council Member Loveland. After that, we'll have an opening ceremony by, let me see if I can say your name, sir, Rajan Zed.
Yes.
From the president of the Universal Society of Hinduism. So pledge of allegiance first and we'll turn it on.
Please stand. Repeat the pledge of allegiance with us. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America.
I got it, yeah.
To the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible.
Yeah.
Justice for all.
Oh, I'm okay, thanks.
Okay. Starting with Gayatri Mantra, which is considered the most sacred mantra of Hinduism, I shall be reading from ancient Hindu scriptures in Sanskrit, some as old as 1500 BCE, and then interpret in English. May all rise, please. May all rise, please. Can you hear me? Hello. Can you hear me? Yeah, can you
hear you?
Yeah,
I apologize.
I'm unmuted from my side.
Do you want to try again?
Can you hear me now?
Yes, thank you, sir.
Okay. Starting with Gayatri Mantra, which is considered the most sacred mantra of Hinduism, I shall be reading from ancient Hindu scriptures in Sanskrit, some as old as 1500 BCE, and then interpret in English. May all rise, please. Om Bhurvubhaha Svaha Tat Saviturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yo Na Prachodayat. We meditate on the transcendental glory of the Deity Supreme, who's inside the heart of the earth. Who's inside the heart of the earth, inside the life of the sky, and inside the soul of the heaven. May he stimulate and illuminate our minds. Astoma Sadgamya Tamsoma Jyotirgamya Mrityor Mamratam Gamya. Lead us from the unreal to the real. Lead us from darkness to light. Lead us from death to immortality. Tasmada Sakta Statam Karyam Karma Samachara. Sakto Hayacharan Karma Parmapnoti Purusha. Karma Nevahi Samsiddhi Mastata Jankadya. Loka Sangreha Mevapi Sampashankar Tumrahasi. Strive constantly to serve the welfare of the world. By devotion to selfless, one attains the supreme goal of life. Do your work with the welfare of others always in mind. Om Saha Navavatu, Saha Nobunaktu, Saha Viryan Karva Bahai, Tejasvinava Ditamastu, Ma Vidvisa Bahai. May we be protected together, may we be nourished together, may we work together with great vigor, may our study be enlightening, may no obstacle arise between us. Samniva Akuti, Samna Hirdhyaniva, Samnamastu O Mano, Yathava Susa Hasti. United your resolve, united your hearts, may your spirits be at one, that you may long together dwell in unity and concord. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Peace, peace, peace be unto all. Om. Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate the opportunity.
Thank you for being a part and thank you for understanding. Technology is great when it works. Right? It's always that. So thank you again. All right, moving on to item number 4, which is our consent items. We need to approve the minutes of January 11th, 2022. Council, have you had a chance to look at the minutes from last month and any changes or corrections that you're aware of?
The only thing I saw, the boundary description was still wrong on the copy I read for the city shops. Still says we're bounded on the west by Washington Boulevard.
In the minutes?
Yeah, it was in the last stuff I read that Cynthia sent out.
Okay.
I guess it was part of the minutes from the last meeting, yeah.
Mhm.
So anyway,
So we'll check with
it
that.
just needs to be checked, yeah, so we have the correct description on there.
Thank you. Anything else? Okay, if not, a motion, please.
I'll motion that we accept the minutes from January 11th, 2022 as presented.
Second.
With the correction.
With the correction of the boundaries.
Second, okay with that?
Second.
Okay. I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
So any opposed? Motion passes. Thank you. Moving on to item B, this is a mayor's appointment of the city treasurer. So we've had a lot of activity going on in the city, and this is another one of those things that I get to do that I'm pretty excited about. Jill, would you like to come up here? She's coming in the back there. I'm gonna have you stand at the podium. Why don't you just introduce yourself?
My name's Jill Hunt. I live in North Ogden. I have two wonderful children. My husband, they're all three here with me. I love to help others and I'm really good with math and I'm a nerd, I will admit. So that's me in a nutshell.
All right, well, welcome to Harrisville City. We're happy to have you. She started yesterday, but we need to appoint her officially tonight. So if you'd like to come over here, and Jennie, you want to go over there? Hang on. Okay. The second one we're doing, Mark, do you want to say this one or do you want me to go ahead? Jill, you can still stand over there. Okay, Mark, go ahead.
We just want to announce a promotion for Nick Taylor. He's going from detective to our new sergeant. If you want to stand up and come up here, Nick, we'll
Well,
swear you in.
you should stand over here. So I need one of you to make a motion to confirm the appointment. No, I confirm just one, just the treasurer. Okay. So I need a motion for that. Good enough. Second, please. A motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, any opposed? Great, so we can do that appointment. So now, we'll have you, so Jennie, would you turn this way so that those are with me?
Both raise your right hand and repeat after me. I state your name,
I, Jill Hunt,
do solemnly swear
Do solemnly swear
that I will support, obey, and defend
that I will support, obey, and defend
the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution of the State of Utah,
the Constitution of the State of Utah,
and that I will discharge
and I will discharge
the duties of my office
the duties of my office
with fidelity.
with fidelity.
Okay.
Thank you. Congratulations.
Copies, and then I'll give you more copies.
And you can come up here and say one, congratulations.
Congratulations. Good coming on board.
Congratulations. We're so happy to have you. Yeah.
I got an idea that you must have waited, right?
Oh.
Congratulations.
Okay, Nick, can you bring those back to me? And you're gonna see after Christmas. Okay. Do you want to do this again?
Tara's gonna come up and.
Okay.
Just take the oil off.
You want to see some blood? Careful, knock your own.
Did you guys get enough pictures? But I'm very sentimental in a picture. Didn't we get Congratulations to both Jill and Nick. So happy when we have some new life and some new things happening in this city. So thank you very much. And on to item number 6, our business items. Is Patricia here?
I'm Patricia.
You are? Okay, no wonder I didn't understand. Okay, so we're going to the Children's Justice Center presentation. And when you introduce yourself, please?
Yeah, I'm Rob Layton. I'm the director of the Weber County Children's Justice Center.
And he married a Canad girl.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, some people mistake me for Patricia. She was supposed to be on, but I don't know if she's gonna make it or not on that thing, so I don't do Zoom, so I just came out here.
Oh, we appreciate being here.
Mayor, was you at Waycott? Was you at the Waycott meeting?
In January when you did this.
You did
yes.
that? Did you see these? Did you get one?
I did not, I was on Zoom.
Can I pass these out? Am I okay to do
You may
that?
have heard.
I'll just hand them to you and then I'll keep one so I can follow this. Makes my job a little easier if you pass them around to the council. And I see you have a heavy agenda here, so I'll be quick. You really have a room full of experts on the Children's Justice Center. You got Max, we've worked together for way longer than we want to admit. And your officers are constantly at the CJC. We love your police department. They're very supportive. And we work very close with your police. So if you have questions on what we do and how we do that, please ask them because they're the ones that use the center. Just real briefly in a nutshell, the Children's Justice Center was created in 1991 to facilitate the prosecution of child abuse cases, sexual abuse, physical abuse, drug endangerment. We found in 1991 that we were doing a horrible job of interviewing children and investigating cases. Reed Richards, who some of you may know, was a county attorney at the time. Reed said, we're going to fix this. And so he started researching it around and we ended up with the first CJC that was under the viaduct on 24th Street. It was a little tiny establishment. What we found is that children don't do well at police departments. When they're interviewed, if you got guns, badges, police cars all over the place, and then we bring a child into that environment, it simply does not work. We also found that, and I was one, so I can say this, I was a detective for 25 years. We think we're really good at interviewing children, but we really aren't very good at it. And so we've now brought in forensic interviewers that know how to interview children. So we've done a lot of things over the last few years to make this happen. However, 2.5 years ago, Patricia and I, we started looking at this and found out that, or just realized that our center is so outdated and so small that we can't effectively do this. If you look at your first page on your little graph here, the little line graph, you will see in 2008, we had 503 cases. 2021, and this is a little behind because we created this at the 1st of December, will be about 850. So we've almost doubled, we'll double our cases in the last 10 years. And what's going to happen in the future, they're just going to continue to go up. In fact, we just passed, and I don't know if this is something to brag about, obviously it's not, we just passed Utah County in the interviews that we do in Weber County. So big problem. COVID's added a little bit to that, and I'll explain that in just a second. As we looked at this, we just realized we have to build a new center. I had 2 architects come in. They looked at the center. They said, cut your losses, move. We can't remodel this center. We can't build onto it. It's an historical building, which has caused us a lot of grief as far as that goes. So we made the decision that we're just going to have to build a new center. We started to work on that. Along came ARPA, ARPA money. So we started looking into that money and found that this absolutely qualifies for ARPA funding. I approached the county commissioners and I said, will you give us some ARPA funding? Will you give us some of your money? They said, yeah, we will. We'll give you $1 million of ours if you will go to every city and town. There's only one town, Huntsville is the only town. all the other cities and present it to them and ask them to contribute some of their ARPA funding towards this project. We agreed, we walked out of that meeting, we went back to our center. If you look at the next, then just 2021 is probably all you gotta look at, and if you wanna look at those others, you can do that, and you can absolutely call us and ask questions later if you don't understand all of this. So what we did is we took the cases, well, actually, let's keep going. On the very back page, you'll see with all the numbers. So we looked at all the cases that Harrisville has, and we did that for 3 years. So if you look at Harrisville, you'll see, and actually in 2021, you had 11 cases. In 2020, 18, and in 2019, you had, or 18 and 20. The reason you only had 11 cases, and we've seen this across the board with almost a lot of the cities, is COVID. And the reason that affects us is because kids do not have access to school teachers. School teachers are lifesavers. They save kids' lives. We know that they don't just teach English, math, and science, but kids grow to love their teachers and they will disclose to their teachers. So it takes about 18 months to 2 years for a child to eventually disclose sexual abuse, and they just haven't had access to teachers. So we anticipate that next year or the year after, we're going to see a huge jump in those cases simply because they will now have access to teachers again. And so we underestimate the value of the school teacher and what they have in kids' lives, but we don't. We get that part. We also, just looking at Harrisville, all the other cities did tremendous growth. These cases aren't going down, they're going to go up. So we just took that average in Harrisville. It's an average of 16 cases a year. The county commissioner said, we'll give you the $1 million, you go out and collect $1.5 million from all the other cities, and that's how we come up with this formula. So we plugged in that average of 16 cases into $1.5 million with all the other cities, and we come up with a number of $39,000 that we are asking Harrisville to throw in. A couple of things about this is we are not a nonprofit. First of all, just so everybody understands, we are not, we get confused with that. I work for the county attorney. Chris Allred is my boss. All of our employees are county employees. So we facilitate that prosecution. We work directly with the prosecutors. We work with law enforcement. We do have when Reed Richards created this, he created a nonprofit. And the reason he did that is to support this government requirement that we all have. State statute requires that kids are brought to a CJC to be interviewed for DCFS. Law enforcement isn't quite as stringent on that, but law enforcement is required to cross-report with DCFS and to be there when the interviews take place. So basically, law enforcement follows that same state statute. They have to do with the CJC. So that, you know, when we looked at that, Reed said, we've got to create this center, but let's have a nonprofit come in. And once we have it established, let the nonprofit take over the upkeep, the maintenance, some of those things for us. If you really think about that, that's kind of opposite of what you normally see. It's normally government is supporting nonprofits. This way, nonprofits are supporting government. And so it's a great combination. It's been a wonderful connection with that nonprofit. That's why we've never been to a city in 30 years to ask for money. We've been around for 31 years now. We won't be coming back. As soon as the building is built and we're up and we're functioning and we're ready to go, then we will be off, and then the nonprofit will take over the building at that point. Weber County will build it. We'll help us build it. We'll sign it over to the nonprofit. They maintain it. Train the officers, full, you know. The reason that when we did this, we put a percentage. If you look at if you go back and we look at the pie chart, we showed a percentage of use that Harrisville uses our center. The reason we didn't do numbers is because the actual interviews are just a very small part of what we do. We do full medical exams. We have the primary children's hospital You don't want to take a child that's been sexually abused to a pediatrician. Just let me tell you that. And you don't want to take them to an emergency room. So we're very, very specialized in what we do, from our interviews to our medical exams, and then we do a mental health assessment at the end. And we assess each and every kid and say, this kid either can go home today, or this kid can't go home today. And then we'll arrange for therapy or whatever we have to do to address that trauma. One last thing I'll just tell you, and as I've gone around to all the cities, we're about halfway through, and we're doing 2 or 3 a night sometimes. I always get the question like, whose responsibility is this? And this is probably what the council's thinking, the council members are thinking of tonight is, well, this is a state problem, because the state has state statute that says you need to do this, you need to go to a CJC. Problem with that is Reed Richards is the one that created it as a county program, and then he just asked the legislator to support him. So it's not a state program, it's a county. Then the county says, well, some cities will say, well, it's the county needs to pay for this, because the county is responsible to prosecute child abuse cases. So when I get asked that question, is it state, is it county, or is it cities that are responsible for this? I have to say it's the cities. The reason I do say that is because we take your kids, they come into the center, we do everything we can to reduce that trauma, to make sure that they're as healthy as they can be. We're not turning them back to the state, we're putting them back into your communities. And you can either pay for child abuse trauma now, and we can try to fix it, or you're going to pay later as they move in, as they come into your communities, and then they start experiencing childhood trauma, which is horrendous. So questions on what we're trying to do here? We are not looking for action, obviously, tonight. We want this to consider this. Our back's against the wall a little bit, in that if the cities decide they're not going to participate in this, then the county commissioners are not going to participate in this. So we could quickly come up with $2.5 million. If we don't get that $2.5 million, it's going to set this project back 2 years. And I'm just not real excited about that when we are in such a crisis right now. We have a waiting room that's probably not even as big as this. And sometimes we have 3 families in that room at the same time waiting for their children to be interviewed. Really bad practice to have families mixed together when they're going through trauma like this, but we have no choice. So I want a big building. I want a building where it's very private. We've got the land, we've got the zoning, we've got a lease agreement. So we're there. We just need to raise this last bid and hopefully start construction as quick as we can. So $5.2 million project. We're asking government for $2.5 million. We're going to raise the rest ourselves, just through different private donations and the sale of our current building, which is worth $1 million. So questions? That was fast. I went through it a lot. Like I say, you got experts in the room. All your officers have been there. They've done a fabulous job. We love them coming in. So if there's questions like that, they can answer them, or Max certainly could. And he's been around a long time with the CJC. So anything from council?
Kind of for your time constraints.
Well, what the county is looking for right now is a commitment from the cities. If they will, so that's a good question, Max. What will happen is if we can get a commitment from Harrisville, then what we would do is go back to the county and say they'll contribute the $40,000. We would then create an interlocal agreement with you, and we would present that back to you. The value of that interlocal agreement is that ARPA funding is very specific on what you use it for. So we're going to take your $40,000 if you so choose to do that, and then we will guarantee that the $40,000 is used for something that qualifies under ARPA. So the county, I asked this the other day, the county said if we knew by, March or April that they were committed to this, then we could go ahead and start the process of, we got our plans started. We should have our plans done. Probably in a month, we'll have everything done. We do anticipate that we will be coming back to the city councils and just showing you what's going on. We want you to be involved in that project. We won't take time on your agenda, but we will bring back what the conceptual drawing looks like so you can see it. We want the city of Harrisville to be involved with it from start to finish. So that's, we hope to, Max, we hope to actually start digging a hole by August, September, but if this is not successful, we're looking 2023 or further.
What happens if half the cities agree to do it and half don't?
We've had that question a lot. I have presented that to the commissioners and the commissioners have not responded. So it's like, I guess I will just have to see what happens there and then go back and say, there's a few cities that just aren't gonna, contribute some of their ARPA funding. And the reason we're going after ARPA is because it doesn't dip into your regular budgets. And I know that a lot of the ARPA money's been spoken for, it's going to different projects, but a lot of the cities haven't decided at all about that ARPA funding. So I don't know, Max, I don't know if the county will say then we're out, or if the county will say go back and try harder. I don't know, but we're hoping that, that everybody just does and we can get this built. And we're on our way and we won't be back for a while, but.
It's like everybody involved between a rock and a hard place because we're statutorily bound to
Yes.
use the facility.
Just that, exactly, and but as I look at the way, and your officers definitely can testify to this as well, it's changed dramatically. And when I see my forensic interviewers go into court right now, it is not about, so much the evidence, it's about why are you asking those questions that way? What are the question types? It is completely different. Defense attorneys go after the interview. They go after the medical. They go after the whole process. And so I would hate to be working these cases and be put on the stand. It would not be a pleasant experience. So it's just so important that cases come into us and they don't go outside of the CJC. We don't do them in our offices. We don't interview kids in our trucks anymore, which I did many times. That's just gone. We just don't do that anymore. And there's a reason. And it's very effective the way we do it. So we're just hoping that everybody contributes, Max. That's what we're hoping. And that we get through this. And some cities, like say, haven't even talked about their ARPA funding, so they're like, yeah, we'll just go with it. And others are like, well, we want to talk about this a little bit. And we're more than happy to answer questions as we go along if there's more about this. So that's kind of where we're at. Any other questions from council? Okay.
Well, thank you for
Thank you.
showing up and presenting this tonight for us.
Gotcha.
Appreciate that.
Sorry Patricia wasn't here. She's way better to look at than I am.
We still appreciate you coming to
Yeah,
us.
thank you.
Thank you. Okay, moving on, discussion possible action to grant final approval for the Copperwoods subdivision, which is a 66-unit mixed-use development located at approximately 1956 North Highway 9. Justin.
This has not been the first time it's been brought in front of you. They've met all the requirements and standards. We're ready to move forward with actual dig of the site and get moving forward on building the entirety of the site.
Any questions, council? They need to stay open? Rick, apparently those doors need to stay open.
Okay.
At least one. Thank you, though. Jake? here? He's over there. Okay. Thought I saw you were here. Anything you want to explain? Anything new, Jake? Anything?
You guys have been great. We've been talking to you guys for about a year now through the process of putting this project together. So we're proud of it. We're excited to get started, and yeah, we're here to answer any questions as well. So.
Y'all had a chance to read this review? Any questions? This is in your packet, right?
I had one.
Go ahead.
As I was reviewing the packet today, I noticed that on 2000, there's a right and a left-hand turn. And the last time I remember this was talked about, it's going to be a right-hand turn on. I just wanted to make clarification, what are we doing on Highway 89? I know it's a right-hand turn only out of the complex, which is fine.
Did you have that drawing? So on the Highway 89 was never supposed to be right turn, just the complex.
Okay, that answers my
So,
question.
sorry,
So the complex will be right-hand turn only, but 2000 is still gonna be left, right?
2000 onto 89 is gonna be left and right. With the knowledge that just down the road will be a street light on 89
Where?
at the entrance of Ben Lomond. And that's as per UDOT calls it out, not the city.
So there is a cement barrier right there, and they can't turn left off 2000.
Yeah, it will.
So we anticipate some bottlenecking there. And I mean, it's what it is.
It kind of is what it is. I mean, we worked through it as much as we could with UDOT, and they were the ones that suggested no, that's still left, right, left onto 89.
Okay.
The traffic study and everything was done behind us, right?
And they feel it's safe.
They tell us, yes.
We're talking UDOT.
Thanks, Jeff. Appreciate it.
Any other questions? If not, could I have a motion, please?
I'll make the motion. That we adopt ordinance 530. Is that the
No,
one?
wait, no,
It's B, okay. That we grant final approval for the Copperwoods subdivision. 66 mixed use development located at 1956 North Highway 89.
I have a motion, and a second.
I'll second it.
I have a motion and a second. This is just a regular motion, so all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion carries. Thank you. Thanks, Justin. Item C, this is a discussion of possible action to adopt Harrisville Ordinance 530. This is a zoning change application received by Ben Lomond Properties LLC, going from agricultural A1 zone to commercial CP2 for Weber County Parcel, located approximately 1801 North Highway 89.
Okay.
So in your packet, there is included a memo, a staff memo regarding this zoning change. It is consistent with the 2019 general plan for this parcel to be commercial. And one of the requirements for the commercial zoning change is a concept plan. This is the concept plan that was submitted as required for the zoning change. Again, the use is consistent with the general plan, and also the access, the location of it is accessible off of the highway which is also consistent with our commercial zoning. So they're proposing potential gas station at the north with some office space to the south and either some restaurants or drive style businesses in the middle. They are proposing aligning the access points. This is a little more detailed, but the access points with the Ben Lomond Golf Course across the highway. Both access points to this commercial development will line up identically with those across the highway. A public hearing was held at Planning Commission in January, and recommendation is positive from the Planning Commission to make this change.
Any questions for staff?
So how deep is this one? Sorry.
Not really.
Yeah, because I think you want to.
It's just a chain link fence that's up there right now.
It's basically dead end on both sides. It's not going anywhere. Good.
Let's have Justin clarify.
So it's not going anywhere north or south, but it will tie in at that point to the city property behind it, and it will run back to 750 west. So it will connect east and west. It will not connect north to south. So
Where's that
So-
city access?
this is the city property, correct? So this access, the light will actually go here through the Ben Lomond and the commercial. And then we will be working with this private owner right here to get that road all the way through into our city property. And then our city property will come down and tie in on 750 west at 2 points.
Is there a time frame they have for when they're gonna start this? Into this? or-
They're very much on a very linear time frame as we are for our public works and other city facilities.
So ordinance gives them 18 months or reverse.
Okay, or goes
So-
back to A1.
Yeah.
To be complete in 18 months or to start?
We want a plat recorded for the subdivision.
Within 18 months, okay.
Any more questions? And this came with a positive recommendation from Planning Commission.
The only thing I don't agree with is the one connect down on this end. Anytime that you have something that can go sliding across, it just, and I know the planning commission did that, but that people are coming out and trying to get back into the neighborhood and there's no light and there's no anything else, I think is asking for trouble. I really do. I mean, I've seen it. I don't feel good about that. I really don't.
And again,
I know.
I hate to bring this up, but that's the only access point that UDOT would allow where it lines up directly with that other road.
So we discussed the light there with you.
They will
Light is
not,
up.
yeah, they will not grant a light there. That's too close to the one here at this intersection of West Harrisville Road. And too close to the light that will be put up right there at this intersection.
So that one will have a light.
That one will have a light.
Yeah.
I mean, there still is a chance because we're so preliminary that we could ask for a right in, right home out through UDOT, right there. But
That intersection, the one farther down.
the
which one are you
furthest
talking about?
south.
That's the one
intersection.
I'm concerned is
Yes.
the one farther south.
So we can ask for that and make it so that people couldn't fully just drive clear across the highway out of the development. What UDOT grants or says we can or can't. I'm not sure what that looks like right now. We're still in talks over the street light. It is going in, but the timing of it is still in question. Are we gonna do it prior to any building or any development? Or are they going to do it with phase one and just leave it not operational at phase one? Or if the commercial goes in and phase one goes in simultaneously, do we have enough deemed traffic with UDOT to then make it a fully functional and operational line?
Well, I know that all we can do is just, go to UDOT and ask them.
Yes.
And wait for their information.
Well, and there again, I mean, that's something we could put on a condition.
I would feel much better about that. I just, like I said, I don't. 1100,
I get it.
okay, how many people race across Washington Boulevard to get to to get there?
Yes.
Time and time again, you see almost, a lot of accidents, and there have been accidents, and so and they aren't moving like they do on this highway.
Very much so, and very much so as North Ogden, when they did their revamp of the extension of Washington Boulevard and closed off Pleasant View Drive to ride in, ride out home.
Yeah.
So I totally agree and understand. I'm just UDOT's UDOT and there's powers to be to make that call. Not.
Well, having that light there is gonna be slowing them down too.
Well, I can see where you're saying going across, but the density on this side is not what it is up in 1100 either. There's, you're not having, you've got those commercial things, they can go up to a light, whereas 1100, you haven't got really a lot of.
Right, but you still have all the people, I mean, we're talking a lot of people in that area, especially in that neighborhood. You're gonna have a lot of all that area is the twin homes and then the other homes and stuff. And that's my concern is I'm sure it will be somewhat safe, but I would like to just see if we can approach it. That's all I'm asking. I know they can say no, and that's fine,
Totally understand.
but just
But rather have it that we've tried to approach it and make sure it's known that it's approached. Totally understand and totally agree with that sentiment.
Will they lower the speed limit then, hopefully?
Not on Highway 89.
You're gonna keep it that fast with all these homes coming
That's
in?
up to UDOT. That's not up to
Ma'am,
the city.
I know you've got questions, but that's not, it's out of order. Okay, thank you. Okay, anything else, council? All right. A motion, please.
I'll make a motion that we take action on Harrisville Ordinance 530, a zoning change application received by Ben Lomond Properties LLC from agricultural A1 zone to commercial CP2 for the parcel of 11-019-0007 located on Highway 89.
Okay, I have a motion.
I'll second it.
I have a motion and a second. A roll call votes are required on this. Councilmember Loveland,
Yes.
Councilmember Jackson,
Yes.
Councilmember Christensen,
Yes.
Councilmember Weiss,
Yes.
Councilmember Wills.
Yes.
All right, thank you. Voting is unanimous. Okay, moving on to item D, public hearing. Harrisville City Council will take comments for or against Harrisville Resolution 22-03, which is a resolution adopting the sanitary sewer impact fees facilities plan. Can we have an explanation of this before we do a hearing, please?
Justin would be prepared the capital facilities plan in conjunction with Jones and Associates Engineering. And so he'll present that plan to you.
So we've sat down together and identified the main needs of the city's facilities that we can use impact fee money for. Currently, our sewer impact fee sits at 0. We have not charged that. We are now, since the growth and development of what's taking place, we need to start charging an impact fee. So this is just, we've gone through and earmarked certain projects that meet the qualifications. First and foremost would be the municipal complex, the infrastructure that takes to run that will be the first and foremost on that plan, and then other sewer projects that is eligible for. So all we're doing is we've earmarked that out, and then at this point, now we can send it out to Zions Bank. They can do a cost estimate of what they we should have the fees be for any new, it will go against any new home being built. So it won't impact any current residents or make their utility fee change. It just goes on to their building permit fees. As you can see, there's quite a few deficiencies on certain areas of piping throughout the city that we need to really look at. And the manhole numbers, we have GIS map. So if you're ever wondering what manholes we're talking about in the areas, this one's the 2300 from 500 west to 550 west. It really could increase, need an upsize and new piping. And there's quite a few different projects marked out, but like I said, the most important would be the 750 west complex.
So if you look at the plan, it's got the projects that Jones Engineering has identified that need to be increased in size by the increase in population when we get through development. And there's 6 projects outlined on pages 19 and 20 in the study. Those are the ones that Justin is referring to. Once the engineer puts together the cost of those projects, then the impact fee is like a 2-pronged process. You have the engineering portion complete, which if this is adopted tonight, will adopt that engineering portion. Then you go through a financial study by a separate independent third party who does a specialized study just on the financial portion. And then they'll bring back what that fee is. We can't tell you what the fee is tonight. We're just presenting the engineering portion of what the 6 projects that are deficiencies in the city are. And then Zions Bank will prepare the study, propose a fee over the course of the next X number of years, and then you adopt that fee with the ordinance of what's called an impact fee enactment. That should suffice.
Okay.
You can accept it. We'll answer questions after.
We've got our explanation about what we're talking about. Can I have a motion to open the public hearing?
I'll motion that we open a public hearing.
Second.
Okay, got a motion in a couple of seconds, so all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Oops, I can't vote. Okay. All right. Any opposed? Thank you. All right. This is a chance for anyone in the audience to approach the podium and give us your thoughts about this sanitary sewer impact fee. If you have any thoughts, you can come up and state your name. Give you 3 minutes. And since we don't have anybody, can I have a motion to close?
I'll make a motion to close the public hearing.
Motion in a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? So motion passes. So moving on with that discussion, or this is a discussion possible action to adopt Harrisville Resolution 22-03, which is a resolution adopting the sanitary sewer impact fees fee facilities plan. All right, any more discussion on that?
Any questions for staff? I think it was presented. No. Okay.
All right, if not, a motion, please.
Make a motion to adopt the action to Harrisville Resolution 2203. Resolution adopting the sanitary sewer impact fee facilities plan.
Second.
Motion and a second, it's a roll call. So Councilmember Loveland,
Yes.
Councilmember Jackson,
Yes.
Councilmember Christensen,
Yes.
Councilmember Weiss,
Yes.
Councilmember Williamson.
Yes.
Thank you. Motion passes. Okay, item F. This is our youth city council presentation report on attending the local officials day at the legislature. 10, would you like to just kind of bring your crew up here and introduce?
Natalia, Aiden. Yes, this is Natalia and this is Aiden. And we are part of the youth city council. I just had a great time being over these youth. And so they were willing to come up and talk about this awesome day that we had just last month. Cynthia and I joined them. And so I'd like to turn the time over to them. And so Natalia will go first. I'll just take a couple of minutes and Aiden, and I'll just, turn it over to them.
Thank you.
Hello, my name is Natalia Dana. I'm very happy to be here. Thank you for having me. I live literally like down the street right over there. I've lived in Harrisville my whole life. So I am a part of your city council. We started a couple weeks ago and super fun. I'm going to talk about the Capitol visit. Super fun, got up pretty early, still amazing though. It's lots of fun taking pictures, going to meetings, and eating great chicken. We started the day off with breakfast, super yummy, easy, and early but fun. We went to a meeting about our state flag and redesigning it. That was about just basically how flags started and how to create one correctly, and how to just where and how and who to go to talk about your flag. I know that Harrisville does not have a flag, which I would love to participate in making one, which is so awesome. The next meeting we went to, we discussed the history of flags and how they are important. We got to touch different pictures and talk to different representatives that just specialized in flags. After that, we got to go to a press conference. It was my first press conference, which was so awesome and an amazing experience. We got to hear from Governor Cox speak. Not long after, we switched locations and had another meeting and lunch at the Salt Palace. For aspiring youth leaders of the future, it's important to learn from, be inspired from, and make connections with leaders of our community and state. I want to say a giant thank you to you guys for letting us go. I had an amazing time and I hope I can go again. Thank you for this opportunity and thank you for letting me be here.
So, good evening, I'm Aiden Ochoa, and basically, I'm just gonna sum up what she said, and as you know, we went to the local officials day up at the Capitol building, and it was pretty great. As she mentioned, that we started off with breakfast. It was easy, it was fast, and then we moved on to Ted Kane, who is an expert vexillologist, and he gave us a brief presentation about how state flags should be made and how they should be kept simple and numbers and letters should be avoided whenever you're making a state flag. And then he also mentioned there's also Darren, and I forgot his last name, but he was also there, and he was really cool because he had helped design the Elkridge city flag, which is a really nice city flag. If you look it up, it's black, green, and navy blue with a black elk in the middle, which Ted said it was a not so wise choice to do so, because the elk would blend in with the darker blue and it would make it seem a bit drifted away. And yeah, it was really cool. So you can see we had a lot of fun. We got to enter the Capitol building, which has always been one of the things I've always wanted to do. And vaguely, I feel like they should have used a bit more marble. I don't think there was enough marble. It was beautiful. We got to see Ryan Wilcox, House Representative Ryan Wilcox, who had already met with us prior to this, and it was a really fun and really enjoyable thing overall.
Well, thank you. Thank you too for coming and reporting on that. Thank you, Tammy and Cynthia, for taking the kids. I know it was always one of the best times that I had when I did that. So I'm grateful that we have volunteers that are making it possible for youth to go there. And thank you for participation in the youth council. So I think it's a great program. You guys want to say thank you too? Right.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, there's no action
So who's
required.
gonna design the flag?
Well, we put submissions in, so. we'll
So
see.
submissions for the state or?
But we do want to do a Harrisville.
Yeah, I'm talking Harrisville flag.
Well, it can be open to the whole public, but we'll definitely get it going. We would like to get the word out, because we asked them down there, we said, hey, could Harrisville do it? And I thought, no, because we are pretty small. They said it doesn't matter the size of the city. So we're like, we need to do it.
Okay.
Get the ball rolling.
Yeah, so how do we support them in this, or what do we?
I don't know. I'll let Tammy decide what
Yeah,
she needs from us then.
We'll
You'll
get
let
our
us know.
brains going.
Maybe Cynthia can
Brainstorm.
figure this out.
It'd be fun.
Yeah,
Okay.
Cynthia's our liaison between Tammy and the city council, and I think they're doing a great job.
Yeah, excellent.
It's been
Thank
a
you.
wonderful experience, so.
Good, thank you.
Okay, thank you. All right, moving on. Item G, discussion possible action to purchase utility trailers. Justin, you're on.
Okay, so with the new purchase last year of the skid steer and with the new irrigation systems coming sooner than later, and with future budget talks, we'll talk about some possible purchase of other equipment later down the road. But right now, we're looking at the opportunity to purchase and upgrade some utility trailers. One would be a trailer that could not only haul the equipment, but also have the dump capability. So if we had a water leak down the road, fill it up with dirt and debris and mud and haul it off. Onto the back of a pickup truck instead of always a 10-wheel lift. And then the other would be a tilt deck flatbed. I've attached pictures of kind of what we're looking at, the goosenecks, the dump trailer. The trailer we currently have right now has ramps. It's about 10 years old. And the cost to get it repaired, to redo the deck, re-weld the ramps and all that, it's just gonna end up costing us more money than it is to upgrade it to the actual right trailers with the 10,000-pound axle ratings and enough towing capacity to tow this heavier equipment that we're going to be purchasing here in the near future.
Is the 10,000-pound axle in tandem or each?
Each.
Is this in your budget, Justin?
Yes, I have plenty of money in Class C horse food funds that we can use to purchase the two trailers. It's about $30,000 per the both.
And these will last how long?
I would guess with the use that we use them 15 to 20 years. With the weight ratings and the equipment we're gonna use to pull.
Any other discussions? Go ahead.
Do we already have trucks that are set up for that? dump
Yeah,
trailer?
we have the two Chevys that are on lease that are both 1 tons with gooseneck hauls. And then one of the new Dodges is actually has the flatbed with the gooseneck ball already in it. So I pre-planned that, knowing that this was a trailer and investment that we would really benefit from coming up with the endeavors that we take on with now having a few water systems shortly coming that we're responsible for.
Do we have to put those out for bid?
I don't know, or is that a state contract?
These are under state contract, so.
What are they running?
Huh?
How much are they running?
So the combined is 30,000, the dump trailer is 18,000 and the tilt deck's 11,000.
Oh, you had 12.
Oh, well, it's 11 and change. I
Round up.
yeah, I just made it.
It's 1199.
Yeah.
Easy math, we're not there. so-
Right, I just wanted to make it as easy as possible and as clean as possible.
Anything else for Justin on this? Thank you, Justin. No other discussion, I need a motion, please.
I'll make a motion that we take action to purchase utility trailers in 2 of them in the sum of $30,000.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. I need a roll call on this. Councilmember Loveland,
Yes.
Councilmember Jackson,
Yes.
Councilmember Christensen,
Yes.
Councilmember Weiss,
Yes.
Councilmember Williamson.
Yes.
Okay, so you got your trailers. Okay. Moving on, we are going to discuss item H is our 2022 goals, and we do this yearly. Let's go back over last year and what we've done. Would you like to present this?
So on the screen here, we have our 2021 goals. The first one was economic development, the second, strategic planning, the third, update our impact fee analysis, the fourth, new municipal complex concept plan, the fifth, approval for the Ben Lomond development, sixth, the West Harrisville Road reconstruction, the seventh, the cemetery plan, and eight, department and staff improvements. So as we go through these, we can pinpoint, tonight we've taken some action on the update to the impact fee analysis. We've also, last month, we took action on the new municipal complex concept plan through the surplusing of city-owned properties. The approval for the Ben Lomond development went through in June of 2021. And we were holding that open house on February 16th that you're all aware of. The West Harrisville Road reconstruction, we have recently received funding through the county for WACOG funding for the widening of West Harrisville Road slated for 2024. The cemetery plan was somewhat put on the back burner because we had some higher priority items that are drawing staff and engineering attention. And then we've made some department and staff improvements. We've made, there have been the wage study, and there have been some changes in staffing to address some of the issues that we were experiencing there. So these are here for your reference as we set new goals for 2022.
I don't know if we've ever looked at our goals from the last year and been able to check off that many. I think that's a good year.
I'd add number one, the economic development by approving this commercial development in the Ben Lomond Golf Course and across the street, which you did that.
That's true. So
That's a significant commercial development for a community.
it is. How does that feel? Look what we've done. Little things gets done. Okay, so now we need to set 2022 goals. You have any that you would like to see going forth through this next year? We can continue on with some of these. I mean, some of these are still good goals, economic development we can still do, right?
I have one.
Mhm.
The municipal complex. I want to see it all done at once.
That's right. Get that one.
We'll have a bond person to sign this bank at our next meeting. Good plan for that.
Okay, anything else? Staff, do you have anything?
Getting the ground broken up Ben Lomond.
Okay.
Very nice.
Even if we have to go dig up all the way.
Anything else?
We have the 9 proposed, I know we talked about this on project management, the planning commission level a little bit with staff follow-up, but we have 9 proposed projects coming through the city right now. And then at least 3 site plans for commercial development. So those 9 plans, several of them are combination mixed use plans, but some are single family developments. And then we have 3 commercial site plans that are working their way through planning commission, and this Ben Lomond commercial will be a 4th. So you're aware of what's going on coming through the pipeline there.
With that massive amount of stuff coming through, I think a goal should be departmental staff development. So you can have the support crew here to do the things that are going to need to be done.
With your reform instead of lady.
Yes. Police officers, public works administration.
I think another goal is, I think honestly, we need to have us, I would love to see a city flag
Okay,
this year.
let's make that a goal.
We'll get on it.
That would be fun.
I think that the goal is to continue to develop activities that will involve Harrisville citizens, things that they would enjoy doing. I mean, before we've done, the Easter egg hunt. And I know some of those have been put on the back burner, but I think we need to address them as we seem to be moving out of this pandemic. And it's a little bit more to the point in time, what are we doing to pull our city back into unification? I also think the cemetery park plan, we started that and I thought that was good. I think that still needs to be on there and they need to continue to develop a plot or at least a site for that. There's people who are anxious to support that. I won't say they're dying to get in, but they say.
We're all another year closer.
They are another year closer, but that seems to be a prideful thing to people who have been raised and live here in Harrisville. They don't want to move.
I like that too. I kind of stopped writing. What time we got?
7.
7. We had 8 last year. I like even numbers. We do. Anything else?
Fantastic.
Anything else? We're gonna have to go with 7.
You could look at your utility rates and see if they need to be updated so you stay consistent
Okay.
with your budget. Sewer, secondary water, getting a secondary water fee for garbage, and stormwater.
Okay.
So there's an 8 for a rate analysis across the board.
Okay, we're good with 8 or we want to go with 10?
I think we're pushing it bigger.
Okay. All right, well, thank you. Thank you for staff helping us with so much improvement last year and going forward with these goals next year. Thank you for helping with those goals. Item number 7 is public comments. This is the opportunity for anything that someone in the public, you can come up to the podium, state your name. You have 3 minutes to address your issue. So you're welcome to now.
Excuse me, I'm John Macedoni. Just wanting you guys to revisit the trucking company or the, whatever you want to call it, over on 750 West. As you guys all know, I'm a mechanic down there, trying to keep the place clean. Majority of mechanics don't keep things clean, but I've researched a little bit about Harrisville City and some of the other places that you guys are coming down on. And we're actually in worse shape, more so a junkyard even, than some of these other places. And we had a accident behind the HOA side of the property, done by probably a semi that knocked out power and fiber optic cable to Harrisville City. So just maybe if we can take a look at this again, because it's getting worse and the semi trailers are doubling, and it's been 5 months and we have a semi out front. And mind you, this is going to be less than a quarter mile away from the new 750 complex. So we're not going to want a junkyard next to a 750 complex. Anyway, thank you.
Thank you, John. Anyone else?
Hi, it's Megan. So I would like to propose a monthly service opportunities for not only just adults in Harrisville, but also kids and teens. I was told when I was around 7 or 8, you can't do anything right now. You're too young. And I would love to get younger kids involved in their community, whether that's making Valentine's cards. I know I made almost 100 probably a week ago. And that was super easy and super fun. So I would like to propose monthly service opportunities for kids, teens, and adults. I think it is important after this pandemic to be social and to go out and to serve your community. especially in Harrisville. We are a small community, but I know that if we come together and we're one, that we can do a lot and we can grow. Thank you.
Thank you. Comments?
Tyler Bingham. So just a suggestion for the council and for the mayor that I've observed. The communication, I know that your websites are good, but I would love to see more social media used to communicate to the younger, well, just to everyone. I know South Ogden City has a weekly mayor's update, and Mayor Porter does an amazing job.
He's more photogenic than I am.
Yeah, I don't know. But just a suggestion that I enjoy learning about the community and things that are happening. So.
Thank
Blaine Barrow, I live on 750. I've been to a few of the meetings that you proposed the complex on the city property over there. I was wondering how far along is the process on that before we go ahead and spend a lot of money on having that all drawn up, because there's a lot of issues on it that I've brought up a little bit, and also with the residents around the property. They have no idea what's really going on. And there is some problems with it that I see myself living across the street from it. I was wondering what kind of dialogue can we get into to make it work for everybody? We know it's got to go in, but we'd like to have it go in the right way. So if you get, so whoever, I don't know who's in charge of this little project. Can you tell me who's in charge of the project?
Well, I think the city is. So we have project management meetings, and I'm going to entertain your question right now. We usually just wait at the end, but I'm going to entertain your question. The city has a project management, and we have all of the entities come together and make sure that nothing is overlooked. So that's who's.
Okay, and as I came over, I know my time's up, but I come over and we're going to have a project meeting this month sometime. I would like to be contacted if those proposals are going to come up in that meeting. I don't need to spend a lot of time on other things that are in the city, but I am concerned with what's going to go in and how it's going to go in on that property.
All right.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay.
Any others? All right. If not, we'll close our public comments for tonight. Moving on to item 8. Mayor Council follow-up. Cynthia, do you want to jump in here?
Sure.
Okay.
So what I'm standing up and presenting is an answer to Councilmember Wise's and Councilmember Williamson's question from last month. Yes, last month. Sorry, my brain's not working. Jennie, will you do this? So the question that was posed was, how can I see the whiteboard better? So after meeting with the audio team and also after meeting with Dennis Morris, Assistant Chief, who kind of does unofficially our computer stuff in here.
Dennis Moore.
Did I say Morris? I'm so sorry.
You do those.
I do it all the time. He's gonna shoot me tomorrow. Don't say anything. There you go. Anyway, we came up with 2 options, basically. The first option is we've got an unused screen right now that sits behind you. It is designed to be used for court when and if we ever go back into having in-person court. We could relocate that. The only problem we're seeing with with the possibility of relocating that is that all of the cabling for it is under your feet. And so in order for Dennis and I to be able to remove it or to have somebody else come in and try to remove it with our facilities, it would be very time consuming and labor intensive in order to reroute everything that we need to. So we came up with the second option, as you're seeing in my memo, and that is to put a smaller screen about half that size where that picture is on a tilt, what is it called, bracket. So that way it's not obstructive to you guys for the council to see. It's not going to be a distraction at all to see anything, and anybody looking at you won't be or will be able to still see you. So that is the option that we came up. It will be three things that we need to buy, and that's a bracket, a small television, and the cabling in order to tie into the whiteboard. From there, the great thing about it is all three of those options can move with us when we go to the new building, if we are able, cheering, for a new building within 2 years, 3 years, if we get the extension. And it could go and be used as either a conference monitor in a room for like the mayor's office, or it can be used in a break room for emergency purposes. So those are the options that we have. We feel if we try to move that one either to behind Jennie and Bill or over here, it would be obstructive or it would be a distraction. So to everybody in the room, not just you guys. So we did move the whiteboard out a little bit more. I don't know if that helped this time. It may have not. We've actually, Jennie and I've actually sat in those chairs and stood in that corner to see what kind of view you have. And we apologize that we didn't address this survey. Any questions?
Any discussion on this? What would you like to do? Like to give staff just
So this then could be turned around, so the audience.
Yeah, I think it's a great idea.
Yes.
so item number 2, option number 2.
Yeah.
Okay. So you guys have got to give an instruction to staff. That's what you want to do.
I think you should go with option 2. That's good enough.
Okay. That's what we need. You guys are okay.
Okay, I was gonna say.
I'm second.
Okay. I don't know if do we need it. We don't need a motion, do we? We just need to have you do it.
That makes
Yeah,
sense.
we're good.
That makes sense and it works.
Besides that, in 3 years, you'll have to update it.
Cynthia, thank you.
Yeah.
You're
thanks.
welcome.
For doing all that.
All right, thank you. We, Mayor Council follow-up, Mayor, no, that's me. I need to stop reading as I'm talking. Mayor Council follow-up, Councilmember Williamson, do you have anything tonight? Okay, Councilmember Weiss.
16th, 7 o'clock, Orion, is it in the gym? I mean, the cafeteria. Cafeteria, okay. And then I have been getting quizzed to death about Halloween already.
Oh.
I've had tons of people like, are we doing this again? And I'm like, I'm really sure we are.
So Brian.
Look at him hide back there. All right, don't be hiding.
No, that's great to bring it up. I just need a date.
Okay.
So if we did it like this last year, it would be October 19th, I believe, with 22. 18.
Okay,
Yeah.
is that this Tuesday or what was it? The
That is
Tuesday?
Tuesday or Wednesday? Tuesday.
It was the Tuesday.
But
When
you
we
guys
looked
can
at
pick
it
the
this
date.
week.
I haven't scheduled fireworks yet. It's one reason I'm here, is hoping you bring that up.
I think that sounds like, and I've just got really a lot of people have asked.
Would
Are
you
we
like to-
doing that again? And they're all like, you have to have fireworks. I'm like, okay.
I was saying, I'm nothing but positive.
Yeah.
Okay, would you like to give direction for Brian to do that?
Yeah, go for it.
What?
I'm wondering.
The 18th.
18th.
I want to do that same week right now.
October 18th, yeah, it would seem to be just a little bit warmer and it was.
Yeah. Tammy,
Okay, sorry, we were explaining about what it is to them.
oh, for October.
Yeah,
Is that something you want to talk to your youth council about, maybe helping Brian with that?
yeah, we had fun with it just this past October.
They helped pass out all the bags and
Okay.
everything we're doing. already.
Yeah, I was stuck over there handing out candy, so I don't know what you did,
Yeah,
but yeah.
we did, we handed out bags, but we
Okay.
had coloring books and then talking about food and
Okay.
it was great. They tried to be really involved.
Yes, Brian.
Let's
Go.
go.
Thanks.
Yeah. That's
We
a
can
fun
do the
activity.
fireworks again. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, sounds good. October 18th.
That's it.
Is that what it is gonna be?
Tuesday, October. We want to set a time now or just wait?
We can probably wait.
Yeah, we'll wait.
Okay.
Okay, Councilmember Loveland.
No. Good.
Councilmember Jackson.
No.
Councilmember Christensen.
Just thank you for next Wednesday. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
That's a big thing, seriously. I'm hoping as many people are gonna show up as I think there is. So
Well, Justin's gonna be out of town, so we're gonna see that.
we'll take pictures for you.
It was already in there.
Oh, it was. Okay, the paper yesterday.
Yes.
Perfect, thank you.
On the front page, actually.
Whoever did that, thank
That was
you.
good. Thank you. All right, well, thank you all for being here tonight. I don't have anything to add. I'm just grateful to see you all here. We are going to go into a closed executive session, so that means I will excuse those in the audience that are not invited to the closed executive session. And I need to have a motion, please.
I'll make a motion that we move into a closed executive session.
Okay, we have a motion in a second. Councilmember Williamson. Councilmember Weiss.
Yes.
Councilmember Christensen.
Yes.
Councilmember Jackson.
Yes.
and Councilmember Lovett.
Yes.
All right. Did you get those motions?
I did for the first one, yes.
Take a few minutes. You okay?